Might as well go ahead and run lunch.
Yeah. I took my jacket off as soon as we got in here and realized I was putting it back on. I hadn't warmed up yet.
Hey, that's usually the end. Oh, Zach.
Howdy.
I used to go strike fishing every December in the winter time, and my hands get kind of bad. And I think I missed much work. How did it cold really?
My hands are always getting, it takes a whole while to get them cold once they're cold.
I got a couple of fingers that go numb real easy. Like I said, it get cold.
All that changes, Dan, as they get older. Yeah, your hands get cold. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you what, last week I got this new thing. You ever just feel fine, you go to bed and sleep wrong, and then all of a sudden your back hurts for 4 days? That's where I was at. That check engine light's starting to flicker on that thing.
Let's put some stuff together.
Just wait, Will, when you hit 40, you start buying a bunch of icy hot preparation H.
Should I do that now?
Are you holding it? Pushing it.
Probably, you're what, 38, 39?
38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't get any better.
Well, I'm telling you, from experience, it don't matter.
Oh, it's
Thank
not-
God getting old.
Everything, it used to be a little inconvenience becomes, well, you realize you gotta get slip-on shoes, which can't bend over time.
I heard you let go of those goat years when you peed, what I was always.
Well, we got a sellout crowd again. Catherine, glad you're here.
Thank you.
I guess we have all county folks. So we'll go ahead and get the meeting called to order. Welcome everyone to December 2nd. We've got another regular scheduled meeting, and then we'll be halfway through this administration of all of us. So we got lots of things to be thankful for. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Jim, if you don't mind, would you open us with a word of prayer?
Lord God in heaven, we do appreciate this day that you've given us to come here and meet and discuss our county business. And as always, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. Lord, we ask you to be with those during this season that have lost loved ones and those who are sick and maybe in a hospital. Just be with them and comfort them and bring their health back to where they need to be so they can get back home. We thank you for all the blessings you give us each and every day. We know that through your blood, the power for the forgiveness of our sins, Father, we ask that you do forgive us of our sins, and we know you will if we ask. We ask you to be with us today as we go through this meeting. Be with us and give us the best recollection on these things that we can. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would, join us, lift the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everyone for that. Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Squire Stump.
Here.
Squire Ferris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Cotton.
Here.
All right, in your packet, we have the minutes from the November 18th meeting. I read through and there's not really any changes that I would recommend. If someone has some.
I didn't see anything out of it.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Dan, to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I want to, for anyone watching and then for us in here also, I don't know if any of you can follow the camera, but we will be getting some new stuff. Jim and I was down at Kipta the other day, and I was telling him that what they had is real similar to what I saw in photos that we're to be getting. And it'll go to who's speaking. You know, the camera will automatically go.
Got voice recognition.
Yeah. And they didn't have microphones the other day either, did they?
Just sits out in the middle of the floor on a stand about 3 feet tall.
Yeah, they had it on a tripod. So, but I just ask anyone in the, anyone watching, if we do lose feed, please shoot me a text or shoot one of us a text, or maybe shoot the clerk a text, and that way we can get it back on, so we won't have any lapses. So thank you all for that. Is there anyone in the crowd to talk? I don't think so, because I think Catherine, you're on the agenda. But communication from the judge, I just want to remind the clerk and the sheriff about your fee office budgets. We need them there by January 15th. So just a reminder for that. And then we do have a special call meeting on those zoning regulations. Will be this Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm pretty sure that they arranged with you guys that would work, where we could take all those up and not be so long today. But one other thing, before I forget, Brian and we have the surplus equipment up there. Brian and Daniel, I guess found them a Christmas gift up there. Maybe they'd like us to get for the parks at Cedar. And I don't know if any of y'all have looked at it, but I guess the sale will be this Saturday. It's called a Tar River, and I haven't looked at it. I looked online at other places. I couldn't find one just like it. Of course, it's brand new. It came in with all that container stuff. It's made to push with a skid loader or pull with a 3-point. But anyhow, if I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on if we need to. We don't have to get that one, because there'll be another one.
Well, while we're on that, I asked about possibly purchasing a new gator too, for the park too, so.
Okay.
I thought we'd get some prices.
Okay, all right. And there'll be more.
Like a broadcast lever or like a mini grill?
Like a mini grill.
Mini grill.
It's up in a metal cage. I think it's red. I've seen green ones. It could have been green or
Almost
red.
kind of like a pirate zero.
But it's called Tar River is the name they stuck on it that week, you know. But looking at them, I've seen them sell. I think they had a price on them, if you buy one around here, $4,000 or $5,000. I mean, I couldn't find one lately, but I have seen them sell.
Do we sell them like grass seed?
Well, we can ask Brian. He brought it up to me and I told him I'd bring it up to the court. So, just something for us to look at. That's all I have on the communications from myself. So we'll just go ahead, Julie in here.
Good.
Well, if you don't mind.
There she comes.
We've gotten,
We're rolling, Julie, sorry.
we've gotten the bids in for the backhoe, so I think that's still up until Wednesday this week, I think.
Yeah. Look, last meeting, we aimed to open them by last Wednesday, and I think when we had them in the paper,
Yeah.
we didn't have enough time to do them last Wednesday, so they got it until this Wednesday.
Right. Put that on the special meeting.
Yes, as long as we put it on the agenda 24 hours in advance, then we can consider it.
I think we want to put it on there, we can talk about it.
All right. All right, we'll put that on the agenda. I know several are watching, so we'll go ahead and put on the agenda the special call meeting to do the backhoe bids. All right, Julie, you're up.
All right, so we have 2 second readings this morning. We have the application of Good Luck Holdings LLC and Jules Farm LLC requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 2 separate tracks. Track 2A consists of 5.014, track 2B consists of 5.037. And this is located on the corner of Hickory Ridge and Patton Lane. Commissioner Osborne made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Goodwood Holdings LLC and Joel Farm LLC, requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on two separate tracts of land, tract 2A 5.014 acres, tract 2B 5.037 acres, located on the corner of Hickory Ridge and Patton Lane. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Travis. After a roll call vote, the motion carried.
Motion to approve the zoning change based on facts and findings of planning and zoning.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve the zoning change that was just read based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, next.
Okay, we have the application of Mark Barnett requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.3301 acres located at 4455 Taylorsville Road. Commissioner Wheatley made a motion to recommend to rezone the application of Mark Barnett requesting zone change from R1 and Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 5.3301 acre tract of land located at 4455 Taylorsville Road. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one there to speak against it. Commissioner Heaton seconded that motion. After a roll call vote, motion passed.
I'll make a motion to approve the zone change as recommended based on the findings and recommendations of planning and zoning.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Mike, to approve the zoning recommendation that was just read based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I got.
All right, while we got you up here, Julie, I read through your minutes of your meeting,
Okay?
and it looks like you had lots of real good discussion and so forth. And I did read where y'all had studied the storage containers a little bit, and it sounded like the points were, I guess, in the spirit of kind of what I feel the room was interested in. And you still planning to possibly have that ready first of the year?
Yes.
Probably, okay.
Okay.
All right, that's good. And I appreciate, again, all the work that you all done all year on this, and we'll be taking this up Thursday morning. And if you don't mind, stay when we discuss naming the roads
Okay.
here just a little bit.
Okay. I will give you a heads up. I went to city council with the the first two ordinances that we did, industrial and agricultural.
Yes.
And I think the way I got it, the city attorney's probably going to get in contact maybe with you, maybe with Corey, I'm not sure. They have a lot of questions as to the things that was taken out. They would like to know the reasoning and the knowledge behind removing some of the stuff before they make a motion, whether to do it as we presented it by the planning commission or as presented by fiscal court, either way. Because I gave them a copy of those ordinances showing if they adopt it the same way, that makes it a little easier on us when we're handing it out, to people. But if they don't, that's fine, But they did say, they didn't table it, they continued it to non-specific date.
Okay.
Because they wanted to get in touch with somebody to get some information as to
Okay.
the reasoning behind the things that you all took out of it. So
Oh,
somebody
that's
will get
great.
contacted.
Could you provide us with a copy of those regulations as you guys presented to us?
We should have it, you should have
Okay,
it.
well, I don't have it.
Yeah, well, we can get it for you, yeah. Because what it is, what we recorded in the minutes had everything we struck,
Right,
plus everything we added,
exactly.
which it really makes it confusing to me, because what got struck, I don't know if it's pertinent anymore, but it is to them because they need to know what was struck.
Right.
But we can get that.
Do they know what was struck?
Yes, I gave them a copy of it both ways.
Okay.
With all the information, with the information taken out and the added.
Yeah. kinda think we got a good, it's a short answer. Short answer is, we wanted to make it friendlier versus restrictive.
Right, I don't understand why they were concerned about why we would make changes like that.
I mean, in some of it I answered, you know, I felt like I answered adequately, you know, that if you all took out something about sprinklers or whatever, you felt like the building code would cover that. You know, if building code would cover it, why do we need it as well? You know, different things like that.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't want something that would turn around and contradict, you know, different codes.
We've said per state ordinance or per,
Some.
you know, so it's covered, it just isn't worded exactly in there.
And you all had something in your minutes, I didn't make a note of it when I was reading it, but, that the question was asked of Dudley about how the KRS works. Of course, you can make stuff, you can add to, you just can't make,
You got, it can't be
We can make it more restrictive, we can't
make it less. Right, right. And I mean, that was a consideration that you all had made on one particular item. But,
I don't know why they was looking at anything other than what we approved.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's their job to judge whether we did a good job or not. Why wouldn't they just give them what we approved, this is it?
Well, it's kind of, because see, some things in the future could start with any.
Well, I'm just saying, if we didn't approve it, then it don't matter. So they all need to know about what we approved, and they can look at that. I don't know why they were presented with what we started with, which doesn't matter because we didn't approve what we started with.
Well, no, but what you started with is what the planning commission recommended.
Yeah,
And so they get what's recommended and they can do the same thing you all did. They can
Yeah.
do it, they can approve it the way we had it written, or they can make modifications and changes. The
Now,
same
but-
way. I mean,
but-
we can end up with two separate documents completely.
that's the key. That's the
Yeah.
key.
It doesn't have to be the same, but I wanted them to understand, you know, this is what the planning commission put together. This is what the county adopted, if you want to follow any of it, you know, to be the same. So they get that opportunity to decide.
Now, I mean, basically, yeah, they do the city and we do the county as far as zoning regs.
Yeah.
And for example, the storage container, they may say they're not allowed. And then we could say they are allowed,
Right.
and that would be fine, right? You just have to have rules for people in the limits and then people in the county
Exactly.
that you'd have to keep separate.
Yeah.
You have to get you some green paper and blue
It
paper.
gets confusing sometimes, but it'll be okay.
Okay, what else you have in? I know y'all.
I told them to watch the meeting if they wanted to see why we did what we did.
Yeah, I mean, pretty simple.
So, all right, well, thank you.
I'll hang around.
Yeah, hang around just for a bit. Catherine, you come on up. I'm trying to think, I know you're on the agenda here, tourism ordinance. Well, yeah, actually, have a seat right there. We got one more little thing. The Goodlet Road mowing, I remember we had discussed getting that mowed again. Did we ever get it mowed again? We had to do posting again?
Right, we got a bid to mow it. Do you not have the
Okay.
bid?
No.
It came in.
Okay.
I can run up and ask Ashley. I know she had it.
Okay, well,
'Cause
I mean, it was in line with other bids that we had.
he gave it to her. He bid it two different ways. He bid it as, I know, bush hogging and finish mowing. And then he bid it as bush hogging, finish mowing, and cleaning up some trees and some junk on the property as well.
Y'all know what it is, it's up in your area, Will, it'd be the, I guess, the second house, when you go up the hill, on the right.
I don't think we need to pay big money to have
Who's he?
finish grade it, or finish mow it. I mean, we've bush hogged them for 20 years. You paid $700 out there for someone to cut the grass, you go 2 days, a week later,
But,
Who's he?
I have no idea.
yeah, anyway, but basically, when we discussed it, actually had to go through the process again of advertising, putting on the door and that kind of thing.
Do we need to approve that bid?
We passed that, well, I don't have it, I don't know how much that bid was.
Can you put it on
Grab
for
it.
Thursday?
Yeah,
I
well,
can get it.
just go ahead and grab it, and I'll let Catherine come up now.
Okay.
We're still good. And that clock, I don't know why all the clocks in town quit over Thanksgiving, but the one in my office quit.
Apparently the batteries were all replaced the same day.
Maybe, but they have, we're in the twilight zone.
All right. Well, just to contribute to the Twilight Zone, Captain Scott with Tourism, I'm here to do a first reading of a revised ordinance. Mr. Miles and Corey's office here have reviewed this ordinance. Our intention is for it to match the state transient room tax ordinance and guidelines for short-term rentals. So, here we go.
I read through it, and basically, it's not creating a new tax, it's just spelling out who you can charge. And kind of the rule of thumb is that it doesn't affect anything beyond 30 days,
Right.
because that would be long-term. And then it changes, because it has cabins, lodgings, campsites, other accommodations, hotel, motel, inn, tourist camp, tourist cabin, campgrounds, recreational vehicle parks. Whereas before, it didn't have all that spelled out.
It wasn't as specific, and so,
That's why it's a track, like statute.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, we're not doing a new tax, it's just correcting the language that was corrected by the statute. And then this will just be a first reading, and then because it's ordinance, we would vote on it next time. Okay, now, has the city, has the city already adopted second reading, or?
no, they get to hear it the first time this next week.
Okay, all right, so they're getting ready to have their first reading.
Mhm.
All right. Do y'all have any questions for Ms. Scott on this?
I got a question there. I saw one point there that says about the city budget. Does the city receive any of the transit room tax, or it all comes to us?
They don't, it all goes to you. All goes to.
I saw that too, Doug.
That's why I was just curious if there was a change in there to where the city collected maybe what was in the city limits or
It's in
something.
section 3.
So I mean, I feel like that'll probably need to be
County budget shall forthwith remit the same to the treasurer of the Taylorsville, Spencer County. That's just Taylorsville, Spencer County recreation.
Right,
So
so,
that's just the tourism.
yeah, so that's, the money goes from the short-term rental owners to the treasurer of Spencer County, and then comes to the treasurer of the Tourism Commission, so that it can be accounted for.
It actually says it in section 2, to collect and pay said transit room tax to the treasurer of Spencer County.
Yes.
we collect the money.
Yep.
It comes to us.
Yep.
Yep.
You all approve it, and we write a check back to the tourism.
Yep.
Things the way we've been doing it. And right now, we're doing, it's not on the bills for today, but for the month of November, at the end of the month, we'll put that total on the bills next time. I think it was around $12,000 last month, a little better, so tourism receipts have gone up anyway in the last little bit, and I don't know if there's more,
Well, that's how.
or if there's been stronger push on making sure everybody's paying, I guess is a good way of putting it.
All right, so this, any other questions? This is just a first reading, so we won't be taking action today, but we'll have it on the agenda next for second reading and adoption.
And we can do more questions at the end of the reading if anybody has anything come up, right?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, it's, if you read through it, it's pretty cut and dry as far as what it's doing. It's just making it follow the statute.
All right. Shall I?
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Oh,
We don't
I don't have to read it out loud to y'all? I was practicing my
Title
reading.
and summary, fine.
Yeah,
Title and summary.
Yes.
Okay. All right, an ordinance to amend the Taylorsville Spencer County Recreation, Tourist, and Convention Commission ordinances adopted jointly by the Taylorsville City Commission and the Spencer County Fiscal Court. Okay. And then which part would be considered to be summary?
Essentially, I think probably best just to read the whereas clauses.
Okay.
We've kind of covered most of the changes, but that way there's.
All right. Whereas section 91A.350, 91A.360, and 91A.390 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes authorize the establishment of a Recreation, Tourist, and Convention Commission, whereas Spencer County by Ordinance Number 13, fiscal year 2005 series, and the City of Taylorsville by Ordinance 259 joined together establishing a Recreation, Tourist, and Convention Commission, and whereas Spencer County and the City of Taylorsville have previously amended the above referenced ordinances, Spencer County by Ordinance Number 2, 2006 series, and the City of Taylorsville by Ordinance Number 274 dated August 17, 2005, and whereas Spencer County and the City of Taylorsville do further wish to amend the Spencer County by Ordinance 13 fiscal year 2005 series and the City of Taylorsville by Ordinance 259 as previously amended, so that said ordinances will conform to changes in KRS 91A.390 enacted by the Kentucky State Legislature effective January 1st, 2023.
All right, thank you, and before you leave, I couldn't think of this. They got the concrete poured the other day. I know she and I talked this weekend.
I've been harassing you about it.
Yeah, that's fine. She's hauling the Christmas decorations around in her automobile. Probably can't see out the back glass too good.
It's like a peppermint clown car.
So, but I was telling her that we got a pretty day come Wednesday, and we'll try to have the tree in there. So let's say after lunch Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Y'all think that's doable, Will? Shouldn't it be a problem?
I don't think we'll have the lid on, but I was gonna bring a bend pole and a skid steer. We can put the lid on once the tree's in there, up there, so.
Okay.
That lid needs to cure real good before we pick it up.
The big leak.
The big lid for the center. You know, the Christmas tree
Yeah.
kind of overhang it. but I think
We
that's-
can just cover that with a blanket, if need be, or straw or whatever, you know, the square.
We got a top for it. This will be ready this week, so I'd just like to put it on there.
Okay. I mean, we can wait till after Christmas to put it on, because the tree's gonna cover it.
Well, y'all get the tree put up before the top's on there, just put the tree up. And I want to give a big shout out to Brian Shelburne Concrete. He poured all that, paid for the concrete, paid all those guys that didn't cost the county a dime. So if you see Brian Shelburne, thank him. And they did a heck of a job. It's stamped, it's covered up with blankets right now, but it looks nice over there. So you see Brian walking down the street, thank him.
Yeah, they were out here, I guess, Friday.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And,
Saturday.
and Saturday.
Well,
They were out Saturday. Saturday morning, when I come down there,
I poured the concrete. I was there.
they were out here Saturday morning, so I come down to town with work.
But Will, basically, kind of what Will's talking about, imagine that whole area is now poured stamped concrete, but in amongst the area, how big is the lid of the board before? A 4-foot square right over the time capsule will be able to be picked up and moved, and the time capsule dug up.
It's got 4 D-rings in it that fold down flush, so when they pop up, when you want to pick it up.
So in 50 years, whoever's here, this is how you do it. Pop up them D-rings, you pick up that 4x4 concrete, you dig up the time capsule, you stick another one in there, then you put this right back on there. We don't have to bust any concrete. And then the marker that we ordered from Bentley's was not ready just yet. So there's another little hole about yay big where the marker will go, and then it should fit the hole. And then if it doesn't, we'll backfill it with mortar or a little concrete to cut it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be about an inch smaller than the hole, because I made the hole before anyone got any measurements.
Yeah,
And the concrete was done for us, so we'll just put a little more than it.
but it'll be just fine. We'll center it in there. But that's basically what he's talking about is they made the 4x4 up in the garage. We're gonna bring it down after it sets up. But if we get that tree set, the tree is gonna cover that hole. They had a water meter top. You know how big a water meter top is? That's where the tree's gonna go. It looks like a water meter, but it ain't. It's just a deep hole. Take the lid off, and then the tree can stick down in there 3 feet, and very possibly support itself, not blow over. We hope. And if not, we'll wire it to something.
I think we'll go put some wedges in there, about 2 or 4 wedges, and it should.
I'll make it tight. Yep, just wedge it around. So, but that's the plan. Wednesday is like the prettiest day of the week. It's supposed to warm up to like 45.
That sounds better.
Yeah, And that's, so that's the best opportunity to try to get it decorated.
The square hole around where the tree will be, is that deep enough that it could impede a ladder being pulled in close to the tree?
It's about this deep with rock.
There's rock in the bottom of it. You won't be nowhere near that with the ladder though. The
Yeah.
branch is gonna stick way out past that.
It should be under the tree.
Okay, well, to get up to the top of the tree, we gotta put the ladder in real close.
Well, but basically, it'll just be over here, and then you've got 75% of the tree that's not affected. So you could actually put a ladder on either side
Wow.
and, you know, touch.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be an issue.
Okay.
Well, let's plan on Wednesday, and I'll get everybody lined up to start decorating the courthouse
Okay.
and so forth.
It's all right if I start unloading ornaments around 10
That day,
onto the floor?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, that day, yep.
That day, no, I'm not gonna leave them out there.
Yeah, don't unload today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll be on another tree.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I wanted to give, before we move on, I wanted to give a shout out to, I called Todd, of course, the first snow of the year. You know, I'm sitting at home anxious, and y'all probably are, wanting to know how bad it's gonna snow and how bad the roads are gonna get. So, Todd had all the folks come in Sunday morning at 5, and they were ready to go. And, when they come in, they'll take, of course, our employees at the road department live in different parts of the county. So they come in and check the roads and so forth. But everything was in pretty good shape, and a shout out to Andrew and the sheriff's department. I saw you had on Facebook where y'all been out turning around and looking at roads in all particular different areas of the county. And I mean, it was comforting Sunday morning, you know, looking at Facebook. It's pretty easy to look at Facebook. You don't have to dress warm, put your long johns on, and look at Facebook. But y'all were out looking at the roads, and Todd and them were on task. Of course, it turned out to be a small event. That probably was a stretch. But nonetheless, hats off to everybody, and I just want to inform the public, and I want to inform the court that, you know, when these things happen on a holiday weekend, it's still, we all got to take action. You know, like I said, I didn't do that much other than look, but everybody had to take care of it. So hats off to them.
I assume we done got all our salt for the year, probably that we'll probably need.
Yeah, we've got, see, we ordered, we got as much up there, we've got as much on hand, pretty sure, that we used last year. And then we've got it sold up if we need to get some more. Yeah, so I think we're in good shape on that. And I'm not too sure that they didn't spread a little salt a few places. They might have had some trucks loaded up and they spread some. Because I saw some sparkles in the roads out and about, so. But, all right, anyone have any comments on any of that? All right, old business, Hagen Pavilion update. I know, Jim, you passed out. Yeah.
The option 1 of the site plan, this is just things that I come up with just for you guys to look at. It was basically the same plan that Hagen gave us, except I think we need parking around the entire building, in the front also, which they didn't have it, so you can drive all the way around the building. Section, or option 2, is Wayne Cleasy will donate us a 40-foot right-of-way all the way down parallel with our property with an entrance onto 155. The county is responsible for building the entrance and the road all the way to the back road. And then option 3 would be to, and I think this is our best option myself, is to the turning lane that comes into the Country Mart parking lot. Okay, as you can see there on option 3, just put a single lane turning into our property, which would be an entrance only, and then we can exit for a street down parallel with Country Mart's parking lot and exit out the back. So, and that way we don't have very much of an entrance to put in. Anyway, let's see. Buildings and things, just general information that we've talked about before. So if you got any questions, just something to look at.
I was reading through your little notes there on it, and, you know, it says, it does say that St. Hagen Center is gonna cost about $150,000 to construct the entrance up there. I think that, what you've got there, I like what you're saying, but, like with your 40-foot right of way, putting an entrance up there, I think the entrance still costs $150,000 entrance alone. And then I think the entrance, just adding the turning lane in on option 3 would still end up costing us the same amount of money, because from what I read in that, the state pretty much told us that we wanted to put an entrance up there, so that's what we had to do. So if we put anything up there, it'll have to be compliant to what their regulation's gonna be, so.
Right, and I don't think Hagan has got the approval from the state to put an entrance in.
Yeah, I agree, that'd be accurate.
So, like say, the option 3 there was just a single turning lane in.
That's gonna have to be approved through the state.
Well, I'm saying that they talked to them in here, that's what they're saying, it has to be done, is that if we wanna put anything coming off the 155, right, that's why they said that would be the cost of that, would be for they have to, put those, extend those turning lanes and all that out front.
It shouldn't cost near as much to put a single turning lane into our property as it would be for right in, right
Well, I
out.
think that $150,000 included extending it quite a ways up that taper for that pull off. And I think in option 3, you got our entrance over right beside Country Mark, so there wouldn't be as much extension, maybe cheaper. I like option 3 just because, well, I mean, if you donate the property, we're still gonna encumber the cost of a road all the way from front to back. And then option 1, we got a road going all the way to the back. Right now, I like option 3 where we ain't gotta build a road, we just gotta build an entrance.
Exactly.
And, we can always build a road later when sufficient funds are available.
And the thing about, on option 3 there also, if you look, we had the street on the left-hand side, track 5 there, coming all the way to the back, which is taking room out of that grass area back there where we can build something else.
Right.
And put the road parallel with Country Mark on that side, and put a sidewalk beside the road all the way up. And then that way, we don't take a lot of our open area and use it for a paved street.
Option 3, the only thing about option 3, and I just know this from experience dealing with them, is where you've got your turn lane coming in, they're gonna make you move it, they're not gonna let you put that right beside what's country.
But, regardless, the state's going to have to prove it anyway, that's just an idea.
I like it, I'm just saying, the state has pretty much said in that email that this is what has to be done,
Yep.
so
Still,
I'd say we're
I
still.
still think option 3 said, this is what we like, is there any way we can get close to this?
All we gotta do is ask the Hagan to put that on paper, the single turning lane, and present it to the state, see if they would okay it, instead of full.
I mean, worst they can say is no.
Right.
I don't think you're losing
We're
anything.
gonna have to pay for the interest regardless.
Right.
Wayne Sweezy, that's another thing, on the Wayne Sweezy's were option 2. Let me get it out here. Option 2 is, we're gonna have to put in the turning lane anyway if the state approves it, right in, right out. And then you notice on Hagan's original plan, we had a road coming into the parking lot, and then extended all the way back to the back there, but where it says track 5. There's 315 feet of road in that back section, and 105 feet from the property line to our parking lot. So if we go this route, then the only extra expense we have is the 280 feet where the parking lot is, because we're already paving the 315 feet and 105 feet up front. We're gonna do that anyway, if we do it the way Hagan originally had it. But if Wayne Sweezy donates it, the 280 feet would be extra, which is, I figured at $200 a lineal foot for a road, which is pretty close. Then it's like $60,000, $64,000, I believe, for us to, 56,000, it was 280 feet to blacktop that. So we would be out that much but we would lose, if we do it Hagan's plan now, we would lose 46/100ths of an acre of open space. Whereas if we do Wayne Squeezy's, we'll eliminate that whole, losing that acreage in back.
Come with the cost.
So if we go with Wayne Squeezy's donated option 2, then we would be out another $56,000 more than if we go with
I don't think it's, the cost we would encumber by completing that extra roadway, I don't think it's worth it.
Well,
That's my opinion.
option 2, we could do anytime. I wanna keep us at a budget that I think we'll all support. And, you know, this road, when we look at economic development in the future, what I hate about building a road, if you build a road where it would benefit us some, because people would be driving out there instead of driving through a parking lot. Well, people are gonna drive through your parking lot anyway, hopefully they're gonna stop and park. But if this road were way out in the field somewhere, economically for the community, you could benefit from both sides. You know, and again, this option 2, we could do anytime. The road that we're gonna build, over here on the original donation will end at our property. And imagine that, so there was an economic investor or someone that wanted to do something that needed a little help, and we could help. We could start at the end of the first road we're gonna build and go out in the field some, and then take the road up to the new road. And then we could all take ownership of that, and he may donate that. That would be a project separate from building the pavilion. So, you know, we can have that conversation anytime.
I'd let someone else build the road.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but
I was donated, fine, my dollar.
if us and the city of Taylorsville want to grow economic into the community, then we need to be open for about anything that could come in the door. But as far
Well, I
as,
agree with you, option 2 can always be done later. I think the
Yeah.
question is, right now, do you like 1 or 3 to have Hagan and Stone draw up to submit to the state, see if we get some kind of approval off of that?
not Hagan and Stone.
Or not
I
Hagan
know
Stone.
who Hagan and Stone is.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about right.
Yeah.
Hagan Engineering. So, I mean, do you need some kind of approval from us for 1 or 3 to have them draw up, or?
I think everyone's good with option 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could,
As
everybody,
good to call Hagan and say, hey, look, can you put this down and get the state to
See if it's an option.
Option 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
because this,
To see it.
really, the only thing that we have to ask them to do is if this is okay, that little road.
Yes.
Well, I
Because
think,
the rest of it, we're doing anyway.
I think what they got, I'm just telling you what I read there a little bit, but where y'all got this to come in at, I think what Hayden's saying is where the entrances they got drawn up and where your little turn lane's not going in at. So I would just let them write it up that way. Because on commercial interest on that state highway, they're going to give you X amount of feet to be in between those two.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Well, the original
So you're either
conversation,
you're either gonna be on one side of the property line, or you're gonna be on the other side of the property line, and I think I would go with that far what Hagan has drove up there for your turning lane to come in, where the entrance is there.
Well, you know, if the turning lane that's there now, it's probably what, 300 feet long, 400 feet?
Well, here's the thing,
Like parking lot.
Yeah.
We could come halfway down that entrance, that road, and then just bear off to the right and put another road going into our property parallel with it, and put signs, you know, Country Mart for the, and just kind of have a split.
of course, that would still be if the state allows it,
Yeah.
because they have right of way all the way to here.
Well, with what Zach's saying, the state's approved putting an entrance there, so they'll let you put a single turn lane in.
Yes.
I just picture this, a single turn lane there is gonna cost the same as a single turn lane on option 3.
Yes.
The footage is the same. So I would ask them, you know, you can submit it however, I guess, but there's gonna be no difference. I think a turning lane how they got it drawn up right now,
Well,
would be
maybe
better than
maybe
two of them
I
right next to each other.
read it wrong, but I thought they was saying like, we put our entrance right here, and then we got to extend this turning lane way on up here, and that's where we, so I thought if we put it here, we might not have to
You
go
gotta
as far.
extend it no matter what.
Yeah, you gotta extend it. no
Well,
matter
maybe not as far, that's what I was thinking, if you put it down by Country Mart.
They get, when you add traffic to
They
the
just
turn
said
lane,
part of
you're
on there.
adding
Yeah,
traffic to it.
well, but I'm saying, let's say it's 400 feet now, if we put our entrance
And they can go
50 feet to the
200 feet
side,
in.
maybe we might want to do, extend it 200 feet instead of.
All right.
Let the state,
Let's see what the
Give us
state
some
says.
options.
Let the state decide, you know.
All right.
Tell them we're gonna do a single turn lane, we'd like to do it like option 3, and if they won't allow it, what?
Where will they allow it? Yeah.
For this, well, I mean, you gotta do it one spot or the other, you don't put it in the middle.
Well,
I don't think,
No, I agree.
I want it on one of the edges.
Right, on one corner, I agree. All right, well, I'll take care of that. We'll work on that this week. All right, anything else on the pavilion? All right, Jim, appreciate the work on that. We're rolling.
I see something there,
Yeah, I got the stuff on it.
Two of them.
Here's mine.
I think
All right, back on the Goodlet mowing, we have a bid here from H&H Mowing, which is Jason Hahn. See, bush hog, $850, junk removal, $350, and then if you mow it with a, let's see, something about the largest tree.
There's a big tree in front of that house that has fallen over.
Removal of
towards the
large
neighbor.
tree,
it's a tree close to the property line, it's laying in the yard.
yeah. So,
I'd say, we mow it just to keep the grass down, but then, is it in foreclosure?
This property's been going on forever, so we need to watch how much money we ever spend. 'cause
That's
we're probably
fine.
never gonna get it back.
what we're getting ready to, I think it's what he was getting ready to say. Like, what's
It ain't in no court. The tax bills have been bought by a couple different people, a couple different times. Now, that process takes how long? Buying tax bills.
So usually, I mean, this year we had the option September 26th for 2023's tax bills. Then at that point, they can assess additional penalties and interest and send a letter to the property owner. Try to force that thing along, but it is a multi-month process, just getting to the point of that option each year.
How big is it now? I don't know.
Well, I think we were,
I think it's 2.5 acres.
do what we had to do.
But mowing wise, it's only about probably an acre, the rest of it's hillside.
That's what I mean, how big of an area is where we're mowing?
I mean, for sure, I mean, you need to mow what you can see when you drive by. I mean, you can't see beyond it.
It's probably 3/4 of an acre, is what's off to be mowed.
3/4.
How long before it becomes an abandoned property that, you can just
Think of that in there.
sell it at auction?
Well, and
On
on,
tax lien?
on the same subject, or similar subject, there is a mobile home in Mount Eden that, I was gonna give you the address.
I didn't even know he was doing it, but the last time it was mowed, what did it cost? $400 and some dollars, something?
Well,
Yeah, when the bush hog,
my thing is, it's like
Yeah.
850 for like 300, like 3/4 of an acre, and that whole,
there is a mobile home at 11 First Street in Mount Eden. You probably aware of it, Julie. And it's an abandoned, basically mobile home. Someone was showing the pictures to me. I mean, this is a similar deal, I guess.
Well, the owner is still employed on that one, the mobile home. The one on Goodlet Road, I know we've been working with probably at least 8 years, maybe more. And, I mean, you can't get anything to the property owner. We have researched and dug and dug and dug, trying to find, the last address I found, I think is like in a nursing facility or something.
is there
I mean,
anything?
how long do we have to go before we condemn the property? But
We don't have condemnation in the county. We
Can
never
we
adopted to be able to
put it in
condemn
there?
anything in the county.
Yeah, because I know that house here on, right down the road here, the city just took it. They're gonna tear it down.
Well, I mean, is this discussion, you know, maybe we need to put this off to a different day, leading to a bigger problem of we don't have anything in place as a county to keep from getting screwed by property owners that don't want to keep up their property for long periods of time, and then we're left just with nothing to, with no leverage or nothing we can do to resolve the problem?
We can put that on our special meeting Thursday, just to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll be here 24 hours Thursday.
We probably need to do some research on it, what other counties do as far as condemnation, if we don't have it here. Because, I mean, here's two pieces of property. Okay, now, the tax bills. If people buy the tax bills, then at some point that has to plateau, and then what happens? Or does it? See, I don't know.
Great question, I don't know on that one.
Sorry to spring it on you, Troy.
They can try to, kickstart the process to, force the sale of it, to recover their fees and interest and all that sort of stuff. But again, it's not an instant thing. As soon as you buy the tax bill, it's not an instant thing. They have to go through, the purchaser has to go through certain steps at that point. And then, again, it's not a matter of instantaneous forcing sale of property.
I mean, everyone's always told me it takes forever when you buy tax bills, so when you say they go through the process, who do they go through that to force the sale? You? How does the sale
After
ever
they
get
purchase
forced?
the tax
Yeah.
bills, they can go through the courts themselves, civil action.
And the judge is who's gonna sell it?
I mean,
You don't know?
I haven't dealt with that.
Yeah.
I don't deal with that. I deal with the
Yeah.
enforcement of the tax bills themselves and up to the auction point. But, there will be sometimes foreclosure actions that were named as, the county is named as a party in case they're, uncollected tax bills. They would take first priority of those, so that if there is a forced sale, foreclosure, anything like that, that's how that process would go.
Have we ever placed a lien on the property for what we've done?
Yeah, you place a lien every time we mow it, we place a lien.
Then we're covered down the road, I guess.
Well, that's what I always wonder too, so if the tax bill, whoever buys it, which I think two different people bought the tax bill up there, but say they force the sale, whoever buys that tax bill is gonna have to pay it to get the lien off.
Well, then purchasing the tax, the third-party purchaser, that pays the tax bill, the county gets that, but in a foreclosure action, we'll still be named as a party in most instances, as a necessary party just in case there's any outstanding things. We do have liens now.
That's what I'm saying, whoever ends up purchasing that will have to pay us to get our liens off the property, correct?
It depends on the priority, but, if there are other liens on that property before, like our Jason's big lien, depends on, there's not much in the pot after the sale, but,
Either way, this adds to
yeah.
the point, we don't need to cut up trees.
Us putting the lien in, us preserving the bottom line.
And I'd like to get two other bids, I'll take care of that, 'cause I think we can do it a whole lot cheaper.
Well, I think, we still need to look at making that something. I mean, you're looking at a 8-year plus bottomless pit that you have to take care of.
So Julie, if you can, look, like Scott said, look at other counties, see what they do, because, I think we need to adopt something to deal with abandoned properties.
So,
Y'all ain't got nothing else?
Jim, what's up with that house right there in Waterford that's been falling down forever?
one on the corner.
Yeah, the one on the corner. Right before you get to the old pumpkin patch on the right?
Yeah, right at the end of Waterford Loop. Used to be Johnson's, old Mr. Johnson.
Are you talking about that one, or are you talking about the one on the hill behind,
I'm talking on the hill.
No,
yeah, he's
that's
on a different one, you're.
Mr. Stone's
They act,
place.
when you're talking about, they actually pulled demolition permit for almost a year ago, and they've never done it. That one, it's the same scenario. I mean, they're not, if anything, they used it maybe for storage, but again, we don't have
I mean, it's falling down
That
now.
feels like
You've
it's safe
seen
to
it.
be around. What?
The fire department can go in, put that red X on the front of them saying we're not entering it for safety reasons, but if we don't have any,
But your office don't have any grounds or any action to take.
no,
Authority.
you
We
condemn
gotta
it.
fix that.
Yeah.
We gotta fix that.
Well, we can.
Otherwise,
address
our
that.
county's gonna be growed up with crap holes on every corner.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna, it's no different today than any day in the past, except
Well, no.
we're in charge to address it. That's the only thing different.
Well, I'm saying, but right now, there ain't nothing we can address because we don't have means to do it.
Well,
We need to do that.
yeah, no one behind us did either, nor took action to get authority. But we're looking to get authority.
I'm just saying that's another example of why we need to look to try to
Yeah.
do that.
Right, I agree.
For the past 8 years in the Julie Road deal, how many times have we voted, you know?
I'd have to pull the calendar out and see.
But, the whole premise is, with the community watching, the whole premise is that we don't want to pick on you if you're down on your luck. But at the same time, you can't have an unsafe mess that takes away from your neighbors' ability to enjoy life and to keep their
Well, down
property
on your luck in
values.
10 years is a tad bit different.
What's that?
So down on your luck and something going on for 10 years.
Well, I agree, I agree.
Down on your
Yeah,
luck,
and
it
it-
turns into a burden on the county, and we have to spend taxpayer dollars to clean up that, and that changes.
People down on their luck for a year or two, I can work with that.
And these are abandoned properties, they're not somebody who's behind on their mortgage or something, and so they going into foreclosure.
Well, but
They're
but
abandoned.
we don't know the scenarios exactly.
That's
You know,
true, but.
And,
I know someone ain't stepped foot on that property
We've
in 10 years.
we've
I bet it's
mentioned
longer
4 or
than
5 places, and, there's probably a dozen other places. And then you gotta watch, it'll turn into someone's mad at their neighbor, and they think their house is ugly, so here they come in here and we're dueling them out. Because their opinion of someone's is different than, we have to set
I
a,
can do that now. So.
yeah, we have to set a criteria that'll withstand the test of time. But, all right, as far as up here at Goodlet, if you all are fine, I will get a couple more bids, and, because I think $850 is a lot for that.
Let's just do it apples to apples, bush hog and only, bush hog.
Well, and I
The
think
last
that's
time they
what,
bush hogged and we did it around the house is what we
I
did.
think that's what he was saying there though, was because the last time it was just bush hogs.
Yeah.
And Scott said something about he wanted to see it finished mowed, so that's the bush hog and then turn around and finish
And
it.
finish mow it too. Well,
Or have him turn it in for just bush hogging.
yeah, this time of year, now of course it would look better, this time of year it'll look just fine if they bush hog it low. Because the grass is not gonna grow till March, April. But we can't have dead Johnson grass and all the neighbors drive by. If any of us lived past there and you wanted to sell your house, no one wants to drive by this.
Well, I'm just saying, this time's going into winter, so let's bush hog
Right.
only.
Right, so, but if it suits you all, I will get bids, and it will be less than, let's say $500 or less to bush hog and weed eat or something. I'll just take care of it if y'all in general consent.
Well, I'll explain the reason I had him add it, put it on there like he did was because he can bush hog it, but
Yeah.
y'all gotta realize the piles of junk that he's gonna go around. So you're gonna have
He needs to weed eat around the piles of junk, that's what they did last time.
but, but if you just wanted to bush hog,
Bush hog and weed eat around the piles
so
of
you're probably gonna
junk
get
in the
back
front
to your,
yard.
Now, all
your
right,
other property.
I'll get it, I'll take care of it.
Don't take his lawnmower.
All right. All right, we're good on that. Now, back, we'll get well, we got things set up. We'll get some info. The propane prices, last year, you all know, we took bids. I called and I recommend that we stay with Bennett's. We still have a buried tank here that's with formerly Greenwoods. All right, Bennett's, they don't want to dig that up. I don't know that they do underground tanks, but
They do, I met with them and we talked about it and, just for what you're gonna get into there, me and them said it'd be best just to leave it. I
Yeah.
don't think we need, and they're digging all that up.
so, but both places give me prices, and then I just called and said, well, y'all gonna charge us for gas this time? And, so, but Bennett's came back at the 209 price. And of course, that wouldn't include this tank or the big tank where Lynn's voting machines are at.
Yeah, I met with them too a little while back. I think we should change that tank. And they were fine with that.
To hook up the whole courthouse
No, the big tank just goes to Daniel's office.
and Lynn's voting machines, which,
Yeah, but it's all, I
That big
call it one building, but
Yeah.
I don't see no reason to not switching that. Unless you do.
I mean, I was talking to Zach and he didn't act like it was any big deal.
Well, I ain't saying he did say it was a big deal, but
Did we
Why would we-
agree, a year and a half ago to go with that?
yes.
Totally?
Well, we were just checking prices
But
every
they
year.
didn't want, see out here, you gotta have an underground tank, or you gotta have those little bitty tanks, or we'd have to set a tank between Andrew's trucks. Because a big tank has to be so
Well,
many feet away.
regardless of that, we can
For everything
that
else.
in the back, why can't we? do
Yeah,
that?
all they gotta do is Greenville's gotta pick it up and then
I
switch
think
the
we
tank.
agreed to do that a year and a half ago.
Well, and I had Zach out there looking at it, and he was okay just letting it be, and we had gas in it. I don't know if we even had to put gas in last year, because it was full of gas.
Well, I think based off what our previous one we voted on, when that tank comes to be built, it should be replaced by a Dennis tank and built with Dennis, right?
And they can take a gas out of the tank.
Yeah, they'll take the
Yeah, if the next Greenville's mad, tell them to come dig up their tank and we'll put one in there. They can fill this tank or they can fill.
But I think we,
If it's a Greenville tank, why don't we just buy the tank?
Do we want to own a tank?
There's no maintenance to it.
Well, could that be something that Dennis and Greenwood
Then
work
it's
out
maintain the
together?
valves and stuff.
You know? Let Dennis buy
well, I mean,
the.
I understand we got that one barrier we don't want to dig that one up, but everything that's above ground, whatever, we should switch out to Dennis, that's what.
Yeah, we need to be with one guy, one person. I mean, I'll have you some buy a tank down there, and that'll be our tank, we ain't gotta worry about
Then if
that.
we change companies later, then we own the tank, it's not an issue.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what, I mean,
That's probably a good idea.
yeah.
All right, well, I'll bring a report back at the next meeting. Use some
Southern
detail.
states is a lot cheaper than both Bennett's and Greenville.
But, I mean, I learned last year, I mean, when you change at home, it's different. But changing all of our tanks and getting it done, and like at the courthouse, we have that 500-gallon tank, and they fill it every Friday. I mean, that's handy. So when it gets down to 0 and it snows and they miss a Friday, then some Monday mornings, I'm afraid we're gonna run out of gas. I mean, it just ain't cut and dry like you would hope it would be.
That needs a lot of work too, because that don't need to be a 500-gallon tank. We need to do something.
Well,
Next summer.
we voted forever ago to move that tank out of the parking lot over there and put a big tank back, forever ago. That's never has gotten done either.
Yeah.
We need to get that done. I mean, that's the small tank you're talking about, we just swap it back out for a big tank and move it.
No, it's a big Greenville's tank in the back, behind the courthouse, that big tank, which only does,
No, that's green.
yeah. it
That
only
was
does
an old tank
winds
that we're not
blowing.
even using no more, I don't think.
Oh, it still gets
No, it's
used.
still hooked up to the.
And why did we ever put the tank, what was the reason we put the tank in the parking lot for?
That does the courthouse only.
Okay. Okay. Well, why we
They
just,
didn't want, I think it was,
Didn't want to
they
dig a
were
road,
to have to place it back behind there and then dig up the parking lot.
To put it in line.
dig up the road
That was
because,
the reason why they put it there, so they wouldn't have to dig the back up.
well,
yeah, that tank used to run the courthouse and then they had a leak when our previous court.
Yeah, and I think we should have moved the tank back there and dug a line. I mean, it ain't nothing that's,
yes.
but right now it's winter, it don't matter. I think next year it should be addressed. We don't need that tank sitting in the middle of the parking lot.
Well-
We need the parking space, or we need the tank there.
And whenever, I'm optimistic, whenever we build, on the judicial, part of it, then that tank will need to be gone anyway. So,
Bring up-
all right, we'll get some more information on that, and we'll bring it up next meeting. Y'all good with that? All right, EMS, Robert.
We want to start with personnel is the first one on the agenda.
So, Yusuf Alawai has decided to go part-time. You see his resignation letter, I guess, in your pockets. His pay will stay the same.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time, please?
It's hard to spell.
Yusuf Alawai,
Is it on the agenda?
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
It's on page 60, Glenn, his name.
We
I had a question with that, where what he was making full-time are equivalent part-timers.
We don't pay
Make it
the
the
difference,
same.
we don't pay the difference between full-time and part-time. They did that last court and stuff.
So what I'm getting at is other part-time folks and him be making the same thing. Okay, all right.
We interviewed a paramedic. He's gonna come on part-time. He'd like to come on full-time, but if he leaves his current employer, he'll owe $10,000 because they pay for his paramedic school, so he's not really able to leave them yet.
How long does it take to get that paid?
He didn't say.
Okay. Typically, what would it take?
It's usually.
He did a 2-year contract.
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
So he has passed all his required pre-employment requirements, and he's good to go, depending your approval on him. And one of our 12-hour EMTs is wanting to take the open 24-48 spot that Yusuf was opening up. So his pay would go from $18.62 down to $15.70 an hour.
But then he'd be full-time.
He
He was full-time.
He's full-time on the 12-hour truck,
But now
and
he's
he wants to go full-time on the
24-hour truck. Okay.
And then you get all that.
And he's probably a month or two from having his advanced EMT.
Good.
So that'll give us a paramedic and advanced EMT on every shift. So once he gets his numbers, we'll come back to you for his pay increase for that, but at least gets him over there. So we'll have an advanced EMT and a paramedic on every shift again.
Is the 1870 for a part-time paramedic, is that in line with
That is
other?
what we currently start full-time paramedics at.
Okay.
I move to make the presented personnel changes as presented on this exhibit. Moving Yusuf Ali from full-time to part-time. His pay rate for Brandon Sane, Stephen Cousins, part-time paramedic at $18.70 an hour. Hiring him, and Joe Goodlett from full-time 12-hour EMT to full-time 24-48 hour shift EMT at $15.70 per hour.
Second. All right, I have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to do the recommendations that were mentioned. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. On the new ambulance, well, Robert and I have been discussing, and there's no prices here, but
I've got some of them
you
here.
can just tell us.
I mean, the problem is they're back up to about 18 to 20 months to deliver an ambulance now, so we really need to try to get one ordered. And the prices are going up 5 to 6% if we don't do something by the end of this year.
Is it price locked in if we agree to do it?
Yeah. Like, the last ambulance we bought, we paid $206.9 for. If we order it today, it's gonna be $215.9. But if we wait until January, it's gonna go up another around 11,000.
What's
So
this
the
that
price
you
would be,
You're about type 3 units.
that is the box with the van front, the E-Series front. Which we can,
Instead of it looking like a 550, it looked like a van.
I think a big thing to add there though, between type 1 and 3, you lose four-wheel
we
drive.
do this four-wheel drive, and, I mean, ultimately, I would like all our trucks to stay the same and keep getting what we've always gotten. But to save the money, we're looking at.
What savings are you looking at?
About 40,000.
You know, we talked about this when we ordered that other one and decided that we need four-wheel drive out here, you know, in the county. Some of the roads we have to go up for driveways, and, you know, you don't want to get to the point where you spin out and can't get up because you don't have four-wheel
And
drive.
we do have some pretty shady driveways that we have to get up.
You know, I don't think two-wheel drive
Endless
is
amounts on the
even-
inside, but if the ambulance can't get there, it's kind of pointless to have all that stuff on the inside.
Yeah, and I was just throwing it out for discussion.
I mean, I'm bringing the two options to you. so-
And I think, you know, he brought it, you know, just for discussion purposes, you know, us having inclement weather is all, you know, where you can't get up a driveway, only a few days out of the year. And usually the fire department's ready to jump on board and help out with their four-wheel drive and assisting in moving the patients and this, that, and other,
I mean, the
it
good
costs
thing is that
$40,000-$50,000 a unit.
if the weather is bad, we still have 4 other 4-wheel drive trucks that we'll have.
I can take you to about 3 or 4 driveways, you gotta have 4-wheel drive.
But when you come to our side of town,
I was
it's,
gonna
Well,
say,
that's
there's
true
a lot of
too, right?
driveways out there, you need four-wheel drive.
I was just bringing it up for sake of discussion, don't shoot.
We have one incident where we can't get up a driveway and somebody dies from it. There's gonna be a lawsuit. And so we need to cover ourselves and stay with four-wheel drive, that's what we got. Bear the cost and be done with it.
is that 209,000 for, whichever type is 4-wheel drive or not?
The last one we got, the pink, the one that's
Yeah, it was
striped pink, we
209,000.
paid 206.9 for that one.
And it's
If we-
what today?
If we ordered it today, it's gonna be 215.9.
So if you switch the types, you'd be 40,000 less than that?
If we ordered the
Van
series
front.
now, they're running about 170. So that's the difference. But we're not paying for the truck until we pick it up, and it's gonna be 18 to 20 months before we pick it up. So, I mean, that's the problem. It's not like I can order it today and I'll pick it up next week.
I think we should go on ahead and lock that price.
Go ahead, make a
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we go on ahead and buy the type 1 4-wheel drive truck for $215.
Well, we'll have to put it out to bid, and I'm not, how long
Yeah,
do
we
we
don't
have to
have to-
run it?
We gotta make a motion to request out for bid, yeah.
I mean, they have the state price, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking.
Are they been-
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I know we've always bid it out.
We
so I'm
can,
not-
we can bid it out if you want, that was just the preference of the previous court, I think that they hold.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta,
we do that.
if we gotta, if they can put on a state price, then we can go on ahead and lock it in. So,
There ain't chance that one could come in lower than state contract for 400, right?
I definitely come in and order.
I can tell you now that the ambulances that we're getting now are probably as low as we can probably go. I mean,
Well, if you put it out for bid, we'll have meetings before January 1st.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I have a lot.
it depends on how long you want to let the bid run.
Or you could confirm if it is state price.
This is
If not,
Pennacare, right?
Set it out for bid.
It's pin care.
Yeah, so,
Does it hurt us any, just put it out for bid?
It don't
Or
hurt.
we can still go with,
it kills your time
Yeah,
just
between
kills time,
advertising
yeah.
and.
Yeah, that's timeline.
we can get a bid back in 60 days, you know?
Well, and I agree with,
January.
How about I look it up right now and you all circle back by the end of the meeting?
Works for me.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have the contract signed and in their hands by the end of this month.
Oh,
So that's kind of where
Oh,
or it's going up another $11,000.
okay, I missed that.
I mean, you all have noticed, you know, the commercials on TV now where you can get zero financing and, you know, car dealers are, 4 years ago, they were parked 15 feet wide on the parking lot at the dealer because they didn't have no inventory. Now they're parking them out on the side of the road because they got so much inventory.
Yeah, but this isn't a judgment car. is it?
Yeah,
I agree.
ambulances aren't quite like the ambulances are made.
Yeah, I agree, I agree.
You order it, they put it in line to be built, and it's built.
We got 5 ambulances right now, right?
5 that run, yeah.
This, we ain't go, if we, so we go today to purchase this thing, we're not gonna get it for 2 years.
Yeah, 20 months.
And the good part is, when we take one out of service next
All
time,
the
we can take
equipment
the
is
guts,
going this one.
put in the new one.
I think I heard that we was only buying 1 or 2 pieces last time, and we bought 10.
What's that, for inside?
Yeah.
Well, that was because we added to the fleet. We only had 4 trucks, but we kept the latest one we took out of service. So the fifth one
Well, we
over
had
there.
this same conversation we had right now, and it said we were only gonna buy 1 or 2 items, and it turned into a bunch more.
We will not have to buy any items for this new ambulance.
That's what you say, Robert. You're getting
Because I think
recorded.
some of it, because I think some of it was that by the time that we got the new animals, that some of it expired on the shelf life.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
So, you know, when you gotta stripe it, that was, how much? It was big bucks.
30 grand or
Well-
something, wasn't it?
Well, no, that was a car. The ambulances come from up at Medics. They're striped and ready. We just have to put the radios and equipment in it, so.
How many miles is on our highest mile one right now?
The one that this is gonna be replacing? Yeah. About 192,000.
Ain't you got one, too?
That's the auxiliary unit that we have right now, the main ambulance and that for.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
I don't call it a ambulance.
Okay, well, that's gonna replace that one, so it kinda,
We may not need it. You can just ship this one out, because you already got it, unless you just got stuff in it that you can just put in this one.
if you do that, then it's added to that it's adding to the fleet again, and it's gonna cost for new stretchers and a heart monitor and all that stuff.
Oh, you missed my point, but that's okay.
Oh.
We'll deal with it. All right,
Did you have a motion?
well, we, yeah, it didn't get a second, so, all right,
Let's go ahead and ambulance repair on that too.
okay, yeah, that's in your book.
We're gonna still have to advertise for bids to do it. Put in the motion unless they're on state bid price contract.
Yeah, on page 59, one of our ambulances here is on 190,000. I asked Robert to see what Daughtery's, this is a place over at Smithfield,
The ambulance is currently sitting there right now.
which we had to do some work on, something, and it was 1,700 or something.
The liquid springs blew out on it, and they had the liquid springs in the rear had to be replaced. That was around 2,400.
Well, so, and then they had this other work, and I asked Robert to ask Daughtery's, and I really thought that they had lifts that would pick up all the ambulances. So, we had this bid, so since it was bigger, I wanted to bring it to you all.
I'll make a motion. We just, you need a motion to approve, I mean, we need to.
Yeah,
Did you say that to say, like, we're not bidding it out to anybody else, or? is that-
no, I said that because I always like to have two options or more.
Yeah, I already
This
got one,
is,
too.
Daughtery can't pick it up, so this was,
Well, I'm just curious about, like, place like maybe Medley's or someplace like that, or if
well, and then if we have found out that if you take two guys at EMS and they run around all day getting bids, that costs $1,000.
it's too much.
Okay, one guy
The truck's
drives
already,
around all day.
the truck's already at this place, had the liquid springs replaced and sitting there. There was some kind of exhaust leak on it. We thought it was a turbo problem, but get into it, they found that it's some type of exhaust leak around a manifold that filled up carbon, and they say, if it doesn't get replaced, then there could be a chance of a fire in the near future. It had built up so much carbon where the leak is what I'm being told, so.
Motion to approve getting fixed with the emergency repair Inc. for $4,635.66.
Sorry.
All right, have a motion by Zach, second by Will, to approve getting Med 2 fixed at Emergency Repair Inc. for an amount of $4,685.60. Any discussion?
I don't like that we just have one bid.
Well, that's why I asked to go to another one.
I did go to doctors, I took the bid up there to them, showed them what needed to be done, and they said they were not able, they would like to do the work, they're not able to do the work because they can't get the truck high enough to get under to do the work.
Well, I guess I don't like it that we just have one bid from somebody who's capable of doing the work.
I'm not gonna disagree, but it's there and it's done, so.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Motion passes. All right.
Brittany, you go up with something?
It will have to be bid.
Calorie bid, all right?
I guess I just need to know.
Put a motion to bid out who might want it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, that we put out for bids the purchase of a Type 1 F-Series ambulance. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
What timeline work, Brittany, for our next meeting?
Yeah, I'll get it in the paper on the 11th, and we'll run it for a week, and it won't make it by the next meeting.
Can we run it any shorter?
I can maybe put it on our website.
So we gotta run it at least a week.
I mean, you have to run it in the local paper for at least a week, so.
So worst case scenario, if we have a special meeting.
At that special meeting.
It's December, yeah.
When's the last day to sign that?
January.
31st, December 31st.
Okay.
By the end of the year, by the end of this year.
All right.
So we're just gonna have another special call meeting.
Just trying to get it locked in so the prices don't go up on it. That's just kind of.
All right. Well, he may would extend it to,
Well, it's not really,
Yeah, the meeting.
it's just the ambulance manufacturer, so.
well, they may work something out, or we can have a special meeting.
Let's plan on having a special meeting and get it done.
All right,
I figure.
all right.
I just wonder, like, the one with 192,000 miles, is that ambulance wore out? I mean, I guess in another 2 years we have, how many miles a year do you think y'all put on that? I mean, I know that's a real hard question, because you got 5 of them, but
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell,
no kind of guess.
25,000.
We have discussed, you know, we got 3 on the road that are driving. We've got 2 sitting. And, you know, you could say one school of thought, you drive one till, I don't want to say it till the wheels fall off, but you drive one until it's completely shot. Or do you take your new one and use it some too? So, but the key is when one lays down, we can have 2 lay down and we're still fully serviced.
Then we're gonna have 3 that can lay down, we're still fully serviced.
No, we'll get rid of one when the new one comes in.
So you'll get 10 down there.
I agree.
We run 3 crews a day that we rotate the trucks on what trucks are operating for that day.
Even
so
the
that
other
truck
2
can run all the time.
Are the 2 just backups until one breaks down? or
We only have one backup.
So the other one's in rotation?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah, there's 4 trucks in the rotation, but we have one auxiliary backup that we use if one of those go down.
Do you think you'd roughly put 20,000 miles on every one of them? Of course, one probably be more, one probably be less.
Well, I mean, the auxiliary truck doesn't get used
Yeah.
as much as, the other 4.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
We run it, you run it all the time while still in the warranty.
Well, it's just like the pink one we got, has very low miles. You know, do we want to not use it too often
What
and
kind
use
of
these
warranty do we
others?
get with these
I'd
ambulances?
run it all, if it was under warranty, if something's gonna mess up.
Yeah, we've got a 5-year, I think it's a 5-year, 50,000, I think.
Yeah, I need to check on that so we know. I
So
don't-
whatever standard.
So it wouldn't be running
for
those and
and warranty is
warranty.
what checks the chassis.
I agree with you.
That just drives my school warranty a lot. Take it
All right.
It'll be repaired, not under warranty.
But the main takeaway from this is we're not trying to update the fleet, we're just trying to keep the fleet in rotation, the right rotation, because it's taking 2 years to get an ambulance, a new ambulance. We've got 4 good trucks right now. In 2 years, we might not have 4 good trucks, but we'll have a new ambulance coming in.
I don't know why we couldn't get much more than 250,000 miles out of one.
Well, another thing is
That don't seem right to me.
that's gonna be, I believe that's our last diesel truck that we're getting ready to replace. We bought gasoline on all the rest of our trucks here lately, so I really can't tell you how much more.
I think that's a mistake too.
That's
And
money.
if we went diesel on the next one we got, it's gonna be another 10,000. That's the price difference between gasoline and diesel.
That's worth 10,000 all day
We
long.
started buying the gasoline.
Is that like the ambulance idles and stuff?
So I think the last two we bought have been in gasoline model.
Of course, I don't really, as much as ambulance are idling and you got all that jet stuff, that's true.
That's all we used with diesel trucks.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we bought, and I really can't tell you.
Idle is the arch nemesis of.
The problem is, I really can't tell you if we're getting any benefit out of buying the gasoline over the diesel, other than the fuel cost is a little bit cheaper, but long-term maintenance and wear and tear, we haven't had them long enough to be able to say if it's beneficial, I don't know.
I assume it's the 6.7 or something. What that could be.
But I think they's gonna idle a lot with gas, right?
That's just the problem, is that if it got about no after, I'd say no.
10 years ago, I'd say, yeah, diesel, but nowadays, we could start encumbering large costs outside of warranty to do after treatment.
I mean, you work on something with F, it's thousands, right?
Every time you
Oh.
have SCR or something go out, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
Every time.
So we are missing that problem. Doug, as far as financing on this new ambulance, we would just have to, I guess, our next budget, because we didn't we put money in this budget, but we took out to deck out this other.
Well, we're still going to write a purchase order, technically if we order, but it'll be,
Yeah,
No.
so it's gonna be, not next budget, the next.
It'd be in
budget.
25, 26.
When we order it, if we sign papers this month to order it, what do we gotta do?
we'll still have to write a purchase order to order.
And money will have to be obligated.
It'll be obligated, but that doesn't, we won't be writing a check till it comes in. So, or
You can obligate the money for budget purposes, but as far as the time, that's
Is that gonna end us up if we need to use that money that's line item for that?
it won't be necessarily obligated.
We'll still have to show that it's obligated, so we'll have the money and have to set somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, there'll be money set aside somewhere, you're exactly right. So,
There's money set somewhere everywhere, so when we pull money to do a bunch of payments, that we usually have money for too, so. I mean, it'll work, it can work.
So how do you want me to have the bid written up? Still using gasoline or?
yes, gas.
Yes.
Gasoline, okay.
I say, yeah,
If it wasn't for the death stuff, I say, geez.
yeah, you got it.
All right.
If they were running hard, you know, if you were running,
Doug,
Next,
Yeah.
Brady, go ahead.
how much money are we short in the ambulance line item? Is it 50,000? Is it 100,000?
Currently, or do you know? Yeah, how much short is the ambulance line right now?
well, we haven't made a bid, we haven't approved it yet, so we don't have to do a purchase order right now.
I know, but assuming it costs, what,
It's the same
200
thing.
and some odd?
215,000.
215 is what we need.
Yeah, how much is in that line now, brother?
I think the last time
I
I
was
checked it was
guessing
around
probably
150.
almost nothing, but
I think it was around 150 the last time I looked.
I guess I'm saying, you just, at the end of the day, you'll have, to make it all work out on paper, you'll have to make sure that there's still 215,000 sitting somewhere.
Right.
Is that gonna hem up
Well,
other
that-
things we've discussed?
Sure will.
All right,
But we'll
okay.
have to move
right
on
now it's 158,000.
in that line.
Yeah.
That's better than I thought.
So you'll have to find the money for that
60,000 somewhere.
before the end of the year to obligate, to be able to write that legally, write that purchase order.
Right.
Yeah, and there's gonna be more costs that come to that.
So, all right.
You'll say 215, but a smart guy would say at least 230, so it's gonna cost by the time it's all said and done.
So when that thing shows up at 209, or whatever the cost is, 215, you don't think you need $1 to put into it?
We shouldn't, all the equipment would come off of
One of the
the
other
truck that's
trucks,
replacing and go on that truck.
Including radios?
Yeah.
everything's up to date, this truck ain't about to expire in 6 months or nothing. Could be later.
If it is, we'll have to replace it for the new ambulance company.
All right, I'm gonna roll on,
20 months, not 6.
Item 3, additional co-op students. We've got a need in several offices. One is the potential sanitation district. Another is in Corey's office, our office. We even thought about just, even if it was somebody for a couple days, but we have been in communications with Leslie at the school about getting an additional student. So just, we got a request to you guys for us to pursue getting an additional co-op student up to $15 an hour, which would just be part-time.
So moved.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to approve getting an additional co-op student at a rate of 15 an hour. And when we get some more tickets, of course, we'll bring that back to you with the name and all for official hiring. All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next is the multi-purpose request. They, we give them 40,000 and we owe them the other 20,000. We did meet last week and you probably noticed, Doug, and I noticed, see, Bullitt County, Shelby County and us are on that, are in the multi-purpose group. And of course, we give, I thought we gave the most, but I think Shelby County gives a little more than we do now. And I think Bullitt was less. But regardless, we had committed and we budgeted giving them 40,000 as the previous courts, I think, had. So,
So I move that we give them the other $20,000 that we owe them.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Jim, second by Zach, to approve of making the payment to multi-purpose, the second half of the allotted amount of $20,000. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Julie, for staying. But this is what us going to get your ideas and things on. The road that goes to the new animal shelter, the sheriff's lot, and Gray Jewel 2.0 is a 35-foot easement, at least up at the front, and goes all the way back to where Spencer County owns, where the animal shelter is. We own from the school to the creek, all the way around to the bridge. But we only have an easement on 35 feet along that wooden fence up to the highway. All right, that road needs a name. We had to put a name, so we've come up with Community Drive. Now, the front of it does belong to Dollar General. And I feel like I should reach out to Dollar General and say, hey, we're going to need this, we have to name it. I mean, I had to have an address, name and an address to get the utility pole set. That was the biggest pressing thing. And then, of course, the water meter and the sewer tap also needed an address. When I filled out the paperwork, I didn't have the address. I put on behind the dollar store in Taylorsville. So I know that's not specific enough. But the end all is, on this cover sheet, page 65, there are, and Corey, you and I haven't talked about this, but I guess it looks like we have the ability to name roads. There's several reasons why this road, which it has been open for more than 5 years, according to KRS 82.400. We could dedicate it, us, and name it. Under KRS 177, local authorities can designate roads if deemed necessary for public use, including local service roads, which it probably falls under that one also. So I guess I want to bring to you all, and with Corey and with Julie, as to what is our next path that we need to take.
I just was asking Corey there, I mean, y'all, you're thinking the road is an issue because it's technically on the easement. I don't know how many roads that we actually own. They're all,
The county has deeds to some. Some, but not all.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, I mean, I don't understand what the big issue is, other than, maybe let Dollar General know how it's going to rate it, I mean.
Yes.
But looking like easement, like all the parties that are named on the easement have like co-ownership that said these properties.
Well, we're not taking ownership.
If you look at any county road that's used for someone's property, that property owner ain't got no say in the road. They got an easement on my part of the road, but I can't tell them to like it.
But at the same time, the fiscal court, you can do it, but don't mean it'll get done.
I was like, you can have.
The fiscal court has the ability to name a road. So,
I think we named the
I
road.
say name it, and name it, and let an issue arise if it does, and it does, but no, then good.
Well, the issue is.
well, I wanted to bring it to you all versus us just doing it, is why. Even,
Anything from the school, that or still done.
it's all done, but here's what I have to do. I have to have the originals from the school district, because Lynn can only record originals. Okay, take her copy. We had a copy. It's gotta get the original.
Paper has all three.
Yeah, they're all done. They are in, I don't know if I may run over there and do it myself, but I had a good meeting with Mr. Rucker the other day talking about the park in town. The mayor and myself and Mr. Rucker talked about the park in town and maybe next steps on it. We've had meetings with Representative Tipton, who was in the other day, talking, and he's on board. So, but I asked Mr. Rucker then, and they had to have the attorney to sign it. And we got all the signatures, but I gotta get my hands on the original so Lynn can record the original. That's the only thing holding us up.
I'll make a motion that we name the new road in question Community Drive.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to name this road that we've been discussing, Community Drive. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we named it Community Drive, Julie. And I have a sign in my office. What steps do you see that we need to take now?
I mean, I have already added it into the 911 system, and addresses have already been delegated, so.
Okay.
I mean, I just didn't know what the great concern was, if it was concerned because it does go through the dollar store, there's the easement, you know, whether it's city, county. You know, I was trying to figure out what's the biggest
The
question about
concern
it.
was me. I wanted to do it right, and this was the first one we've done.
Okay, I just,
Can you clarify? Is it a county road, is it a city road, or is it a private
It's
road?
a county road. We're naming it, so it's a county road.
It's a county public road.
I suppose you didn't want to name it Ray Jewel 2.0 Drive.
The,
When that connects, I mean, they're gonna be community drive all underneath the bridge back up to Radio Point.
to Ray Road,
It'll be the old
Ray
Ray
Road,
Road, yeah.
we'll have an ending point. See, like right now, Todd has an ending point at Ray Road. Okay, then this road, we'll make an ending point, and then when we get under the bridge this winter, we'll have another ending point.
Well, let's make it Radio 2.0.
What's that?
Let's name that Radio 2.0, and underneath that we'll put ST.
No, that'd be a part. But nonetheless, you know, we had to have this, so that's, and we will have a discussion with the city as far as, because we're gonna have the discussion on the road behind Country Mart also.
They ever agreed to donate anybody on their sewer tap ban?
$5,000.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, city.
right.
On the, you mentioned the road behind Country Mart, Corey,
Yes.
is that completed?
That's the first, tonight we can discuss, the executive government discuss it.
Oh, I do a different session here, but,
Okay. All right, next on the agenda is the invoices, bills, and transfers.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills, make the invoices and transfers. We can discuss it.
All right, have a motion by Zach, second by Will, to pay the bills and make the transfers. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay?
Did y'all notice the vet bills,
Yes,
especially cats?
yes.
And we've never taken cats in before. Maybe we ought to get with Victoria and say, you know,
Done.
I thought the Humane Society was going to provide that service for cats.
Well,
They do up until the point where they get so many cats they can't handle them, so that.
But you know, that's a
Where are we
very,
getting the
very,
cats
very
from?
high vet bill.
Was that the gas, $737?
well,
All of it.
the biggest bill is toward the end.
I'm still looking through here.
We've been in constant communication with Elk Creek about these bills. Katie's on top of it, she's had multiple meetings with one who does the billing, to try to get it ironed out. We also did talk to Victoria about things that we will approve and things that we are not approving, and making sure that we're not being billed for those things. So dental cleanings, you know,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be doing
We
that.
don't need to be.
Yeah, there are things that homeowners that I would provide for my dog that the county is not gonna provide.
The, Victoria was in the office just this morning, and we asked about the cleanings. And that was actually a dog that, they may have written down cleanings, but they had teeth that was falling out. So it was more than cleanings, but we wanted to make sure that it is actually truly spelled out. I still don't see in the bill, in this part of the bill, which I guess we might be able to stick it on there, where it differentiates between a cat and a dog.
Well, these two say kittens, and both of them are 117.39. I wonder what
Those were getting fixed, those were getting fixed.
Well, they run that spay neuter. I mean, it ain't like the day they come in, we have to send them to Elk Creek to get them fixed. And they have a spay neuter clinic just at least once a month and usually every couple of weeks. over at the Humane Society. I mean, can't we hold them and send them over there when it's half that price?
I would think so.
Well, I wouldn't think we need to do anything with them unless it's an emergency health issue until they're adopted out. And then we can spay or neuter them at that point. Why, like, if you see on some of those that says cats, it's got a parenthesis, or not parenthesis, but a number like 5 or 6.
Yeah, getting 3, getting 2, yeah, getting 6.
You know, and, you know, are we gonna continue, we could continue doing that in this new shelter, we'll go bankrupt.
Like on page 74, there's a animal medical bat blind. So I first saw that and I thought, surely we didn't work on a bat. I guess it was blind as a bat. I guess it was a dog, but I don't know that it was a dog or a cat.
There's a tiger in there too.
There's a tiger, and I assumed tiger would be a cat. A tiger could have been a
I
dog.
think that, but
But it does say that, well, in the billing, it'll say canine, feline.
Well, they said he was blind.
It,
What's the $230 for? Did you get him his eyesight back?
I don't know.
Last time.
Did you get him glasses?
I'm not sure.
they need to look at that TNR program also, I mean, because, and that'll, you know, because if these are cats that are just street cats, and they catch them, and somebody catches them and brings them in, then they need to just be neutered or spayed and sent back to where they came from.
Right, well, at Cake, I don't know, when I did Keiko training after our other meeting, right? I haven't told y'all about Hardin County and other counties, did I talk about that?
You told me about it, the
Okay,
other day when I was in the office.
Yeah, all right, there's a lot of counties that take in cats, euthanize a bunch of cats. All right, the best alternative to that is the catch and release. The one fella said it's cheaper to catch them, fix them, release them, and you always take them back to where you pick them up. I mean, if they pick up a cat right outside the door here and they fix it, they're gonna bring it right back out here outside this door. If someone calls about a stray cat, they're gonna bring it right back to that person's house after they fix it. But it's cheaper to fix them and release them than it is to euthanize them. Because they'll get assistance to help do that. But, so, you know, as we move forward and us working with cats, you know, we already have tried to narrow down these bills with the work we've done, like the $500, Dan, I think, that we put together. I think Will and you and myself, we met and, you know, did some ideas on how to cut the cost down. You know, and why this one dog is $737, mahogany, I guess that's a dog. But, I mean, I totally agree that with everything everyone said, we've got it, and we're working on it. But,
Well, it's supposed to be approved by somebody.
Yes.
You know, we'll spend what we have to spend when we have to spend it, but
It's supposed to be approved by somebody the way it got set up, I thought.
animal committee or, I don't think it was just one of the committee
Yeah.
members, wasn't it?
well,
Yeah.
Is
But,
that what the ordinance got wrong?
Committee member was included in the decision.
I didn't hear that.
I do know that the one dog that had all the medical problems that the hometown Lutz people paid that bill.
did they wind up paying the whole, get enough for the whole deal?
That's what they said.
Yeah,
Is that true?
I'm not sure either.
What we have, maybe we can discuss it privately another time, just because, we've had issues and I don't think this is the proper forum to
All right.
address issues, so. What we did come up with, just discussing, that the county would pay for basic animal care, which included routine vaccinations, deworming treatment, preventative medication, examples, flea and tick treatment, heartworm prevention, spaying and neutering for all animals that are adopted out, and emergency veterinary needs not to exceed $500 is what we have here. Tests required to determine appropriate treatment for animals and immediate health issues, not to exceed $500 approval. Non-approved medical expenses are non-urgent surgeries or specialty surgeries such as dental cleanings, tumor removal, orthopedic surgeries, long-term care for chronic conditions, diabetes, arthritis, alternative therapies, acupuncture, chiropractic, cosmetic or elective treatments, tail docking, ear cropping, and experimental or non-standard medications.
Do we have anything in there about euthanasia? Whether we can do it, or will do it, or don't do it?
And we redid that, we had.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah, it's at the discretion of the committee in conjunction with the vet.
now, we don't know if some of these kittens weren't adopted, right? And if they were adopted, there would be a fee, right?
Well, we were supposed to charge that back, I don't remember what the price was or anything, but,
Yeah, we don't know that these kittens weren't adopted and somebody paid it.
When you got 6 kittens in a litter, or 3 kittens in a litter, most likely
And
they're all adopted.
Well, they do have to be a certain age. I mean, you're thinking kittens that just barely open their
I'm
eyes.
just saying, there's,
I know.
I got that number 6 right
Six.
there.
There's 6
That-
kittens.
These new believe it was 6 litters, 6
Kittens in a
litter,
litter.
regardless of how old they were.
Right.
They all got fixed.
Well, if we received money through adoption fees, wouldn't it be here somewhere?
As a revenue,
It
mine
would
would
show
be
us
bad,
a
I go
receipt
for
from Victoria.
depending on the report.
Do I now?
It would be a receipt from Victoria, and it would just be put in a line item to say receipts, animal
Yeah.
shelter receipts.
Well, we're gonna have to start paying something, probably gonna, if you have this much going on, you're gonna need to generate some kind of report to accompany these bills, so we can kind of keep track of it.
we can do that.
Well, pretty easy to do too.
Yep.
Between fees and, for the last month, fees and donations that they don't control, we've received $805 last month.
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
That's nowhere close to these bills, but.
Yeah, of course, that would reflect the month prior to that. So like, if we got paid for these, we wouldn't see them till January, probably.
Well, these are, the fees I'm talking about that we've received is what Victoria and them bring in. Yeah, well, they may still be out by the time they adopt them out later.
Yeah. So, but,
But the fees too high, they're probably not the way he's gonna adopt them.
Well, I think, from now on, Victoria needs to include a report of her expenses and then what she's taking in with fees, the company just needs to, before meeting, in case we have questions, we can
All right.
put it on for reference.
yeah, I'll take care of that.
All right.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion?
I just have one question.
Yes.
It's just a simple one, probably just because I don't know what I'm talking about, this, next to them, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
But most of them was like 100, 200, 280, but then like the clerks was 614.
Where's that at?
That probably had something to do with the
73.
election, I would guess.
Next to it is the landlines in everybody's office, so landlines, faxes, things like that. Some offices are more expensive because they have a physical fax and they have a lot of phones, whereas the judge's office only has, 3 phones?
So she's got the most phones. so
She does have the most
okay,
phones
that's
in-
fine. That's, something jumped out
That's
at me.
All right, all right.
On that.
Any other discussion?
So that was a good one.
All right, entertain, we've got a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Who
All
was
right.
the second on that motion? Who was the second?
I think we,
No,
Zach made it, we'll second it. All right, thanks.
we're going into executive session.
All right, which one do we need to go in, Corey?
B or C or D.
B and C.
All right, motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61-81B and C.
Second. We have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to go in, Andrew, did you need to give us a report?
Nope, I'm good,
All right, to go into executive session, that's KRS 61-810B, which deliberations for the sale of real property,
leave early.
and C, discussions for pending litigation. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.